Oh, Vicky Maria, so bright, so bright. Your YouTube world is the purest gold. With every video, fresh and new, you light my days with joy so true. Oh, Vicky Maria, your voice, your charm, your spark, your flair, keep me glued beyond compare. From laughs to lessons, all you share. No other channel shines so rare. The comments buzz, your fans agree. We're all here for your energy. A loyal crowd, you're ahead of the game. So here's my thanks from me to you, for all the fun and wisdom too. Keep creating, stay the same. Vicky Marie, you've won the game. The comments buzz, your fans agree. We're all here for your energy. A loyal crowd, you're ahead of the game. So here's my thanks from me to you, for all the fun and wisdom too. Keep creating, stay the same. Vicky Marie, you won the game. Keep creating, stay the same. Vicky Marie, you've won the game.
Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, it's Positivity Sunday. This is where we stop the craziness, isn't it? Where we bring some positivity back. So this is your weekly dose of positivity, your weekly dose of sanity in this crazy world. Oh my God, if you did not laugh, you would cry. So it's, seems to be working okay. I'm doing these positive Sunday services. They're not religious services. We've all got our own beliefs. And it's just about spreading some positivity. We will say a couple of prayers to our gods, whoever they may be. Or maybe we don't have a God. Maybe we're just sending out positive energy. Maybe we're just, sharing positive thoughts. That we don't have to be praying to a particular God. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is light a candle. Now, remember, on a Sunday, the candle that I light basically is for all of us. I certainly needed one this week. It's been a hell of a week. But you know what? I survived. I'm still here. People have had worse weeks than me this week. People have had better weeks, of course, but people have had worse weeks. It's been, I can't believe it's been a week. Of course, this week here in Spain, we had the blackout on Monday. I hope next week's not like that. There's been all sorts of things going on this week. Some things as well, sort of personal things. Then the car window breaking that's still not fixed. All these kind of things. But, they're small things in the scale of things, aren't they? We had the blackout on Monday. Probably quite a lot of people, financially it was catastrophic, because of not being able to work, same for me as a lot of people. And apart from just being a pain, but there were good things about it as well. There's some positive things came out of it. It was nice to sit and chat and reminisce about old times, because we had nothing else that we could do than talk to each other. So it was quite nice, actually. I don't think we'll be doing it again, but till the next blackout. But these kind of things, you've got to look for the positive in everything, haven't you? So yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster week, I think you could say, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm sure there'll be people out there that've had really terrible weeks, because you've only got to look at the news. Trying not to look at it this morning. I will be looking at it, of course, and I will be, for those of you who may be watching my channel for the first time, I normally chat about true crime, all sorts of things, really, lots of things that I chat about. But sometimes the topics that I chat about, they are quite grim, I think. I think they're important topics, but they still are quite grim. So for mental health reasons, I decided to do this once a week, Sunday service, positivity, find some positive things to talk about, say some prayers, all get together, have a laugh, something positive. So did you like the introduction? So, of course, that's the song that one of my followers, Admit, sent in, and we love that song, and I'll be using that a lot with different introductions and things, because it's so sort of upbeat and it's so positive, and it's lovely, and then of course on the introduction as well, all the dolls that people have sent me in that they've made of me and things, so I honestly and this week especially, because it has been a bit thingy, I don't know how to explain it. Just a bit of a weird one, I think you'd say. It is you guys keep me going as well. And it's so nice when people say to me, oh, we really look forward to your videos. And, it's nice. And of course, people like the community, don't they? I can see you're all chatting in there. I'm going to come in a minute and say hello to everyone. The community is important. I think I'm just a conduit, really. It's just like, I'm just here waffling on, and then people like to chat, nothing to do with me, so that's nice as well, because people have been brought together in that way and they support each other. So yeah, the candle that I've lit is for all of us, all of you, anyone who needs one. All the different reasons, when you think of all the different reasons why we might be fed up, it's a wonder we're ever not fed up, really. Because, it could be financial reasons, it could be relationship problems, it could be mental health problems, it could be physical health problems, it could be just something simple like, you can't pay your electric bill. I don't mean to say that's simple. It's not simple, but, financial problems. It can be bereavement. It can be problems with your pets. Either you've lost a pet or your pet's ill. Your children, worrying about other people's problems is a big thing, isn't it? Maybe you're okay, but your family isn't for whatever reason, or loved ones, friends. Just goes on and on, isn't it? Whatever your problem is, it could be job problem, it could be, neighbours, could be anything. There's so many things that can go wrong. It's a wonder anything ever goes right, isn't it? But yeah, and sometimes what I found this week is, just as you think you've got one problem sorted out, like the blackout was the big thing, obviously on Monday here in Spain. So anyone who doesn't know, I'm based in Spain. We had a big blackout. The whole country was blacked out. I mean, it's crazy, really, when you think about it. And all that we were thinking about then was getting the power back on, so that we could have our lights back on again, so that we could cook, so we could get on the internet, so we could send messages and stuff, watch YouTube or make YouTube videos. And that was all we were concentrating on. And then when it all came back on, it was like, oh, it's fantastic, big celebrations. And then before you know it, something else goes wrong, isn't it? So it's like, whenever you get one thing sorted out, life's a bit like that, isn't it? Get one thing sorted out, you might get one day where you're relaxed because, oh, that problem's sorted. And lo and behold, up comes another problem, isn't it? So, that's the way it is. But some problems are more serious than others, we've seen that because of the cases that we report on. There are some things that can't be fixed, aren't there, in life? If you lose someone or you lose a pet or there's a tragedy in your family or whatever. So these are the things that can't be sorted out. So the little things we have to learn to cope with, really, don't we? So first thing I want to say is thank you to you all for all the positive energy you send to me, like the nice messages, the emails, obviously just for watching. That's a positive thing you're doing for me. Watching, liking, subscribing. Special thanks to my members, as always, who are the mainstay, the elite chatterati, the mainstay of my channel. Special thanks as well to anyone who buys me a Ko-fi, sends a super sticker, PayPal's me, or any of those positive things that you do. Thank you so much. So, hello, you lurkers there at home. I know there's a few of you out there who don't like to join in the chat, but thank you so much for watching. Hi. Maybe one day you'll feel brave enough to come in, even if it's just say hello. I want to say hello to replay crew. For those of you who can't catch the live, but you would be watching on replay, thank you so much as well. And now I'm going to take the banner off and I'm going to come into the chat. I'm going to bravely go into the chat. Bravely go where no woman has ever gone before, and say hello to everyone who's in the chat. Hi, David. Hi, Yvonne. Hi, Daniel. Happy Sunday to you. Hi, Annie. Hi, Darren. Hey. No. Tia. Hi, sorry about that. Hi, where was it? Now she always got a bark is so ear splitting it takes me. Hi, my angel. Oh, Annie's got a peaceful couple of hours because the boys have gone fishing. Brilliant. Hi, sheep farming. Thank you. Just Annie and her rabbit. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you look forward to it, Yvonne. Oh. Yeah, don't mention the neighbours. Don't mention the lecky bills. Hi, Maria. And Bluebell. Did I say hello to Bluebell? Hi, Bluebell. So we've got a few people from different parts of the world as well. So I know there is different parts, times of day for wherever you are. So what I thought we'd talk about today, because, it's all about positivity, this. Now, we've been talking a lot lately about water safety, haven't we? Oh, by the way, I hope you're all enjoying your bank holiday. I believe it's bank holiday, isn't it? It is here as well. But here it finishes today. But I think, is it bank holiday on Monday in the UK? What about Australia? Do you get like a Labour Day weekend, or America? I'm not sure how it works. But anyway, here in Spain, it was a holiday on Thursday. Then they made a bridge, so they had Friday off as well, Saturday and Sunday. And hopefully everything back to normal tomorrow. But remember last Monday, that's when this electric blackout happened in Spain. That still hasn't really been explained adequately. But anyway, we're not going to go into that in this video because we're about positivity today. I suppose the positive thing was it's all okay now. Yeah, so I forgot why I started saying that now. So yeah, I hope you're all enjoying your bank holiday. Oh, you've got Monday off, right? Okay. Or Monday's a bank holiday. So tomorrow is just a normal day here. We had our bank holiday, if you like, here in Spain on Thursday. That was Labour Day, Day of the Worker. Workers are well looked after in Spain, as long as employers abide by the rules. But, and there are strong unions and things. So, the work, of course, we have a socialist government. So that always is supposed to be good for workers, isn't it? So, okay. Now, so what I thought, that's right. So we've been talking a lot about water safety, and we're going to be God, you could virtually talk about that all day, every day, couldn't you? Because there's always sad things happening as far as water's concerned, especially when it's holidays, especially when the weather starts to warm up a little bit, but that always creates problems. People going out into open water and thinking they can swim, or it all looks inviting. So we've been talking a lot about that, and I'm not going to go into sort of tragedies and things today, but maybe later on today, or certainly this week, I've got quite a few things planned to talk about. So I thought, well, normally, unfortunately, when we're talking about that, we're talking about, accidents that happen that don't have a good outcome. Do you know what I mean? That the good outcome is actually finding the person's body, not that people are actually rescued often, unfortunately, because so they have tragic endings. So I thought what we'd do is we'd talk about some recoveries that were like miracle recoveries. Now, talking of prayer and stuff like that, some people believe in prayer, some people don't. Some people, we all have our different religions, or if we don't, maybe we don't follow a religion, but we have our beliefs that we pray to a higher power, or we believe in God, but we don't believe in religion, etc. That's the whole point of this Sunday service, is it's not about any particular religion, whatever religion you are, you just pray to your God. When we say the prayers later, we will say some prayers. They're not to any specific God. They're just out to the universe, really, these prayers. And just like, you take them with your belief. I'm not telling you what to think. I hope you wouldn't tell me what to think, or anybody else in here. We're just all nice people, whatever background we come from, whatever religion we have, whatever colour we are, whatever anything we are. We do in this chat. We don't support hatred towards any other religion, or we're not homophobic. We just, we don't hate anyone except the perpetrators of terrible things. We do hate them a little bit, don't we? We do have a little go. There's respect for everyone except people who do horrible things, isn't it? So we don't have to respect them. But we respect each other. That's the most important thing. The chat is respectful, especially as far as sort of colour, creed, sexuality, etc. We don't, people, in my opinion, I'm a citizen of this universe. I'm a citizen of the world. I don't even really go with sort of nationalism and things like that. I mean, I am British, of course I am, but I'm also European. There's a bit of me that's Spanish, but I always just think I'm a person in a world of all different people, and there's good and bad in every race, in every religion, in every country. I've met people from all different nationalities while I've been living in Spain that I've taught Spanish to. Literally, if I was to count up the number of nationalities that I've taught, and really, I don't think there's any nationality that I haven't taught. I've had Chinese students, not many, but I've had Russian, I've had Ukrainian, Scandinavian, including sort of Icelandic, Swedish, Danish, people from the Faroe Islands. I've taught French people, German people, American people, Canadian people. I don't think I've had an Australian student, actually. That's one thing I don't think I've had is an Australian student. But, so many different nationalities. And you know what? Some of them are nice and some of them aren't. Irish, English, Scottish. God, I mean, I could just go on. And, most of them are nice. Probably 90% of the people that I've taught Spanish to are lovely people, Spanish or English. But, you get the odd one that aren't. But they're not exclusive to any particular nationality. To be honest, most of the horrible ones have probably been British. But, that's probably because I have a majority of British students. So what I'm trying to say is I don't believe that, different people are This person's horrible. I've taught Syrian people, I've taught Muslims, I've taught Christians, I've taught Mormon people, I've taught Catholics, Protestants, you name it. I've taught them all. I've had people in my classroom that were like, what's the word I would use? Spiritualists. Everything. And some, they're just people. We're all just people. That's the whole point of this Sunday service. Hatred free. We don't do hatred. We don't do divisive things. We try and bring people together, not split people apart. That's the whole point of it. Hi, Tracy. Anyway, so going back to what I was saying. So if you're watching this channel for the first time, you'll realise that I do waffle quite a lot sometimes. If you don't like waffle, it isn't the channel for you. So sorry about that, but that's just the way it is. So what I thought is, now quite often when we pray to whoever we pray to, not always our prayers are answered, are they? I mean, we've got to be honest, they're not always. And that can make people, including me, it can make you quite despondent. And, it's like, is there a higher power? Is anyone listening? But the thing I always think is, prayers may not always change the situation, but they don't do any damage, do they? So the thing is, prayer is like it's like a lifeline, isn't it? It's something that helps people, even because sometimes people are facing an unsolvable problem. If somebody has terminal cancer, or I don't know, Alzheimer's, or especially with illnesses, some illnesses can't be cured. So it doesn't matter how much you pray, it won't get cured. Or if somebody's already passed on to the next world through accident or foul play, or whatever, and you've already lost someone, that can't be cured. You can't pray and then that person comes back. But it just helps to know that people are thinking of you. The thing is, in this journey that we're on, and we're all in it together, we literally are all in it together, because none of us, don't matter who you are, doesn't matter how much money you've got. I mean, obviously money makes things easier, but it doesn't stop. It can't make you happy. You can't help your relationships. You can't help your illnesses and things like that. It can get you the best treatment and stuff. But, at the end of the day, we're all mortal. We're all born and we're all die. And in between, we've just got to do the best we can and try and figure out what it's all about, isn't it? And just, I do think we're here to be happy. It's difficult sometimes. But I always look at sort of animals, they're unaware. The thing about human beings is we are aware of our mortality, aren't we? So, it's a worry. We worry because we can think, when you look at animals and now they just take pleasure in like the most sort of simple things, like barking at the neighbours. It's like, as people, we think too much, don't we? Sometimes I think, God, if you didn't think, overthinking is a real danger to your mental health, I think. But it's very difficult sometimes, isn't it, to switch off because you start worrying. Most of the things you worry about don't ever happen. I don't know about you, but that's happened to me a million times. Worry. And then in the end, I get to a point where I just think, I'm just exhausted with worrying about this. Can't worry about it anymore. And that's when things tend to get better, when you stop worrying, so I don't know, worrying, overthinking is very dangerous, I think, but also difficult not to do. But maybe sort of, how do you stop yourself from overthinking? I come on YouTube. And then sometimes sometimes the subjects that I talk about, obviously they don't help my mental health, like talk about true crime and things. But sometimes I have to disconnect for a while over the weekend, I was watching some old episodes on YouTube of Only Fools and Horses and things like that, because that was yesterday. Just sometimes you do have to switch off completely, don't you? And just laugh and at silly things, whatever sort of floats your boat, whatever you think is funny or whatever. So what I'm saying is prayer may not cure. We cannot, in this Sunday live, we can't cure everybody's problems, but just for an hour or so, we can help people forget about their problems. So what I thought I would do, because we, as I say, we talk about recovery often, and it's not a positive thing, even though it's positive to recover somebody, at least better than never finding them. It's not like positive in the sense that they're still alive. So I thought, yeah, I will, let's talk about some miracle recoveries of people. And I think that's what we're going to do, because it'll just make us smile, hopefully. Give us it, because today is all about that. Well, this video is all about positivity. So that's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at some miracle recoveries. Let me find it. We're going to look at 10 miraculous rescues. You know, this was in Time. These were in Time magazine. They almost didn't make it. So 10, just short, 10 miracles. There's been more, of course. There's been lots more. But these are just 10 that are found in the Time magazine. So that's what we're going to look at. Anyway, so cheers, because I have got you know, it's Sunday service, so I've got a little bit of red wine. So it's Sunday, no driving today. After I finish this Sunday service, I'm going to get a bit of sun, hopefully, and then maybe back on later. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's look at the first one. So the miracle on the Hudson. Now, some of these, I mean, I've never heard about this. Well, I probably did hear about it, but I didn't take much notice of it. So this is the miracle on the Hudson. So on January the 15th in 2009, television viewers were glued to their sets. There was the rare sight of a passenger jet bobbing in the New York City's Hudson River on a frigid winter afternoon. That Hudson River, you know, it's a bloody, it's like the Bermuda Triangle, isn't it? How many, you know, I don't think I'll be going to New York anytime soon. So equally mesmerizing were images of passengers and crew members of USA Airways flight 1549 safely and quickly exiting the stalled aircraft. And the culprit was a flock of geese that had got stuck in both the plane's engines as it departed LaGuardia Airport, and the plane's captain, Chesley Sullenberger, and First Officer Jeffrey Skiles pulled off what is now regarded as one of the most successful ditching of a plane in aviation history. Well, I've got to be honest, if you were on a plane and you thought you were crashing into the river, you wouldn't think you were going to survive, would you? So, yeah, there you go. Miracle on the Hudson. Now, you know, we get to hear about the plane crashes. There's been helicopter crashes. There's been this, that, and the. Seems like it's been one thing after another just lately. But of course, what we never get to hear about, or rarely, are like miracle. I mean, there's lots of times planes can go wrong, but for whatever reason. But it takes a lot to bring a plane down, isn't it? It still is the safest form of transport. But this is, it's nice, isn't it, to know that, you know, it's not impossible that you can escape even if a plane does go into a river. So there you go. So all the passengers and crew members were safely evacuated from the plane. And yeah, bloody flock of geese flying into the engine. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I don't remember it. It's funny, isn't it? So you can see that, and there was a film made of it. I haven't seen the film. I'll have to look out for the film. But yeah, helicopters are a whole nother thing. I wouldn't be going on a helicopter. You could. I don't think you could pay me to go on a helicopter. The only time I would go in a helicopter if I was doing it for charity, and it, maybe something like that. But not for me. You could pay me £1 million. If you paid £1 million to charity, maybe I would. But not for, honestly, couldn't pay me enough money to go on it. Okay, so what's this next one? Let's see. Have I got to go back one? Baby Jessica. So the next one is Baby Jessica. So before Midland, Texas became known as George W. Bush's childhood home, it was at the center of one of the biggest media events in US history. Now, don't forget, this article was written I think in 2010. So we're 15 years on. There's probably been other bigger media events since then. So Baby Jessica's 2.5 days trapped in a well. On October the 14th, 1987, 18-month-old Jessica McClure, left alone for moments in her aunt's backyard, fell into an 8-inch wide, 22-foot deep abandoned well. She probably crawled off, did she? That if you've had children, you'll remember the toddler stage. When they're crawling, they're so quick. They seem to go overnight from, basically you could leave them anywhere, they can't move, to suddenly, literally they're so quick. It just seems to, that sort of transition seems to happen so quickly. It does take you unawares. You would maybe leave a toddler there. Well, once that had happened, you'd never do it again. But one day you could leave them there and they wouldn't even move, and they couldn't move. And the next day do exactly the same thing and they're off down this well. I remember that clearly when my son was young, when he was a toddler, just from baby state to 5, isn't it? The transitions are so quick. So you could easily get caught. And isn't that how, it's not a positive story, but Eric Clapton, wasn't it, his child who, quite often they go out of windows and things. Luckily, this baby went down a well, could have died, of course. Anyway, 2.5 days trapped in a well. So fell into an 8-inch wide. So there you've got your rescue problem straight away. 8 inches wide, 22-foot deep abandoned well. And it was 58 hours before she was finally rescued. How the hell did they get to her? One of the images of Jessica's bandaged face as she was being pulled from the well won a Pulitzer Prize. And in the rare interview she has granted since becoming old enough to talk, they're calling her by the surname again, Jessica has revealed that she remembers nothing of the event and she views her scars with pride because she survived. The 24-year-old is now married with a young son. So she was 24 then, so we're 50, she'd be 39 now. And she has a little less than a year to go before she will gain access to a trust fund worth $1 million, money donated in her name by well-wishers for the toddler who got through nearly 3 days of terror by singing Winnie the Pooh songs. Oh, bless. But that must, the thing is, the whole thing there, can you imagine what that would have been like? It's, all the time is of the essence, isn't it? How do you get down a narrow well like that, 22 foot down? It's just a miracle, really, that they got to her, isn't it? I think. So it's fabulous that they got to her. And she's now, she'll have that $1 million now. I hope she's had a good time with it. I mean, the good thing is she doesn't remember any of that terror, but I bet it was so traumatic for her aunt. So she was in her aunt's backyard. Her aunt obviously took her eyes off her for a minute. Will have been traumatic to the rescuers, because they would just be panicking like mad. Could they get her out in time? Because if she was in there for nearly 3 days, that's a long time to go. I suppose they could lower food to her and that, I suppose water. But, how do you tell a toddler the importance? I mean, it just must have been awful. She would have been crying. It would have been very, very traumatic for the rescuers too. And quite often rescuers, I think we mustn't forget them, because people who go out searching for missing people, and then, find them and they're unfortunately deceased or whatever, that's traumatic for those rescuers, because quite often they've searched for them for days, if not weeks, and they've become emotionally invested in that person. And when they find, and they're hoping that they will find them alive in a lot of circumstances, aren't they? Initially, I'm thinking particularly that runner not long ago. I think it was Jenny Hall, her name was, and they didn't know at the time whether she had, gone for a run and had an accident, or or it was foul play, or if she'd done something to herself. And so the rescuers were looking for her, and unfortunately it did turn out that she had, for whatever reason, done something to herself, it seems. But they found her, so they would have been hoping all that time they would find her alive. So I think we have to remember the search teams, the rescuers, or the people who are trying to rescue. So it was successful in this case, and this baby survived, or this toddler survived, and she's now an adult. So that's a good. Let's go to the next one. China's mining miracle. On the 8th day they were delivered. On March the 28th, miners digging a new tunnel accidentally cracked an old one filled with water. The ensuing flood trapped 153 workers underground. Hopes faded fast as rescue crews worked around the clock, but they were buoyed by tapping sounds coming from the depths of the shaft on April the 2nd. Rescue workers immediately sent milk, glucose, and words of support down the tunnel, and 3 days later, they dropped in rafts and pulled out 115 survivors, most of them in a stable condition. Now, of course, it's sad that they couldn't all be rescued, but that's a big percentage out of 153 people to pull out 115. The joy flowed freely in China, which has the dubious honour of possessing the world's most lethal coal mining industry. Now, of course, coal mining is a dangerous job. It always has been, and it always will be. I expect, I know of accidents here in Spain, and coal miners here in Spain, well, I don't know if they're coal miners, whatever but they retire really early, really early. They retire because I don't know if it's not 40. Because I knew someone who was a miner. Let's have a look. And so they should, when they do a job like that. I mean, it's exacting physically, mentally. So it's sort of like you. Yeah, they. Stop. 52. They can. They can retire at 52. So, yeah, that's quite good, isn't it? Firefighters, 59. Railway workers, 52. That's strange, isn't it? Bullfighters 55. Yeah, yeah. They want to do away with them completely. So yeah, mine workers can retire at 52 in Spain. I don't know if that's different in the UK. I don't know how that all works in the UK. So there you go. That was the next one. You're going in the bathroom if you bark again. I mean it. You're being bad girl. Yeah, never mind. She comes up and gives me a cuddle. She thinks I'll forgive her, but of course I do. Okay. Yeah, you lie down there. You lie down there. Be a good girl. Okay, next one. Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571. Let me just come back into chat. Make sure you're all okay. Yeah, I think you're all okay. Muy bien. Okay, so the Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571. Is this the survive thing? Oh. Oh, yeah, I've seen this film. This was Survive, it was called, wasn't it? Yeah, I've seen this film. The Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571 on October the 13th, 1972. Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571 crashed in the Andes Mountains. On board were members of the Uruguayan rugby team and their friends and family, 45 people in all. Now, it's funny that I didn't remember that. I mean, I've seen this film. Oh, God, how old would I have been? I don't know, maybe very young anyway. I don't remember much about it. The only real thing that I remember about it is, the not very nice bit. So their chance of survival was so grim that the search mission was called off after just 8 days. Some were killed instantly, but others succumbed to injuries and the mountain cold. As the days went by, survivors were left with few options and little hope. Their sparse food supplies, a few chocolate bars and some bottles of wine, did not last long, and eventually they made a group decision to eat the flesh of the bodies of their dead friends and teammates. In the end, Nando Parado and Roberto Canessa trekked for 10 days across the mountains to secure their rescue and that of 14 other passengers. They had lived an astonishing 72 days on the snow-coloured mountaintop after the crash, and their story of their survival inspired. 1993 the film was. Alive. Oh, I thought it was called Survive. But anyway, never mind. But yeah, I've seen that film. It's a bit grim, as you can imagine. But anyway, they survived. They didn't kill anyone to survive. I mean, the people were already deceased. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to go into that. We're talking about positivity. But yeah, I wonder how they felt about that later on. But anyway. Okay, the next one. A sunken submarine. Oh, that's another nightmare of mine. I couldn't go in a submarine. It's too claustrophobic, isn't it? It's bad enough going inside those submarines. They're claustrophobic even if they're on the surface of the water. And then once they go under the water, I think it's terrifying. Anyway, on the morning of May the 23rd, 1939, the USS Squalus sunk. The brand new state-of-the-art submarine was conducting a routine test drive off the coast of New Hampshire when an induction valve failed. Water rushed into the submarine's engine room as well as the crew's cabin. 26 men immediately drowned, but when the Squalus's sister submarine located the sunken vessel, 33 men were still alive and able to communicate via Morse code. Conditions satisfactory but cold. How could you describe those conditions as satisfactory? I'd be like, I'd be going mad. I'm just thinking, my son always says I'm dramatic. I'd be going, get out of here now. Conditions terrible. Come and get us. It's like they're trying to, when it's always the same, isn't it? With these, that's their they're professionals. They always stay calm, don't they? You know, get this calm voice. Oh, conditions satisfactory but cold. How could the conditions possibly be satisfactory? Anyway, Navy divers led by Charles Momsen, inventor of an escape breathing apparatus called the Momsen lung. They used a rescue bell, a small vessel tethered to a ship that could be submerged and attached to the submarine's escape hatch. It took 4 separate rescue trips, but all 33 men were brought to shore safely, and the final survivors reached the surface just after midnight on May the 25th. So 2 days it took to get them all off there. So that's good. But even so, you know, I still don't know how they could describe those conditions as satisfactory. Okay, Pennsylvania miners rescued alive shortly before 9 p.m. on June. Notice a lot of these are to do with miners. It's a very dangerous job, isn't it? Oh my God. You know, looking at this guy in this, because this is how they go into the mine, isn't it? In these sort of, they're almost like a capsule. You know, I just couldn't do it. I, honestly, all, you know, hats off to them, because oh, that just looking at it makes me feel claustrophobic. So shortly before 9 p.m. on July the 24th, 2010, 9 Pennsylvania miners working with a map that turned out to be incorrect accidentally hit an abandoned mine. Millions of gallons of water that had accumulated over decades rushed over the workers, trapping them 240 feet underground. Sorry, that's me now. I've just got to have a drink because I'm getting dry. After pinpointing their location via satellite tracker, rescue crews drilled a narrow hole down into the shaft, pumping in air to pressurize the chamber and keep the water at bay. Then they drilled a larger hole, finally getting close enough to the miners to lift them to the surface in a metal cage, one at a time. After 77 harrowing hours, all 9 men emerged alive with minor injuries. God, imagine waiting there. You know, how would they decide who went up first? You know, I presume they, I don't know, toss for it or whatever, you know, pardon the French, but you know, yeah, how would they decide? Or maybe they use names in alphabetical order or something like that. But yeah, how would you decide who to go up first? Maybe some were coping better than others. Whoever waited to the last one, they're a proper hero, aren't they? Because waiting for, you know, all 77 hours, waiting for all the others to go out, you know, absolute, you know, some people are quite heroic. Hi, Joanne. I hope I haven't missed anyone. If I miss you coming in, say hello again, because sometimes when I'm reading the things, I do miss people. So under the Haiti. Anyway, under the Haitian rubble, with every day that passed, following, I can't even say it now, I've forgotten how to say it, Haiti's devastating 7.0 magnitude earthquake. Now that is a huge earthquake, isn't it? The biggest earthquake we've had in Spain while I've been here was 4 point. So this is nearly double that. The odds of uncovering anyone alive underneath the rubble plummeted. Yeah, because if you don't find anyone within the first couple of days, it changes from rescue to recovery, doesn't it? When survivors were found on days 5, 7, and 11, the world called it incredible. But when Darlene Etienne emerged after 15 days, there was only one word to describe her perseverance: miraculous. She was extremely dehydrated and she had a broken leg. But the 17-year-old survivor was otherwise healthy as French rescue workers pulled her out of a house's rubble near St. Gerard University. So yeah, God, imagine that. After what, 15 days did they say? 15 days under the rubble. Oh my God, that's over 2 weeks, isn't it? I mean, I was just thinking the other day, a week is a long time, isn't it, when you think what can happen in a week? This is 2 weeks and she's just there. She must be a very strong mentally person. I'd be interested to know how she coped. What was she praying? Is she like, a prayer person, or was she sort of singing songs in her head? I mean, how do you survive that? Just because I think mentally, even if physically, she'd broken her leg, hadn't she? But she was dehydrated, but she was otherwise healthy. So even if physically you were okay, mentally you could just give up, couldn't you? Or you could get into a panic and start scrabbling, and then that could mean more debris falling on you and that. So I think to survive that long, you've got to be quite mentally strong. Yeah. Anyway, now, prisoners of war no more. Again, I'm going to just come back to the chat. I like to come back every now and again. Just make sure you're all okay. Yep. Okay. Prisoners of war no more. So forced by their Japanese captors to march 55 nightmarish miles through the thick Philippine jungle, only 54,000 of the 72,000 American and Filipino prisoners of war who participated in the Bataan Death March reached their destination. God, so that's nearly 20,000 that died. I mean, my God. Some of the survivors, known as ghost soldiers, then lived in misery at the Cabanatuan prison camp. In January 1945, US Army Rangers and Filipino guerrilla forces launched a mission to rescue the soldiers, going behind enemy lines to attack the camp. The 30-minute assault surprised Japanese forces and led to the liberation of hundreds of prisoners of war with few American casualties. Their causalities or casualties? Do you think that should be casualties? Anyway, their heroic efforts were later recognized by the then President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and the story has since been made into the film The Great Raid and chronicled in Hampton Sides Ghost Soldiers, the epic account of World War II's greatest rescue mission. The thing about World War II, or any war, I suppose, you get like the things that are always being talked about, like Dunkirk or, V-Day or things. But there are so many other little stories, aren't there? These were like the world wars, obviously, just by the name, that they, affected the whole world one way or another. And there's so many stories, so many, like I didn't know about this. And I do sort of follow history of World War II, etc. I've studied it, but I didn't know about this. There's too much almost. There's so much happens in war. You can't know everything, can you? That happens. Sometimes I've found out things that I wish I hadn't found out about World War II, and that, nobody's innocent in war. Just because the winners of the war, if you like, they write the history, doesn't mean to say that they've never done anything terrible either. There's some terrible stories, that sort of the Allies, terrible things the Allies did, but they're not the sort of things that we get to hear about. So anyway, because of course whoever wins the war, they're the ones that write the history of it, really. But that's why I'm so anti-war. War is just horrible for everybody. But yeah, I didn't know about this. So anyway, I hope the ones that did survive and did, got a chance to live again, like in their lives when they got back home. But it's difficult. So it's not all just about survival, is it? Survival is the first thing. First of all, you have to survive something, a traumatic incident, but then you have to live with your survival as well. That can be quite difficult as well. But anyway, so I thought we had the Pennsylvania coal miners, or is this another lot of coal miners? Gosh, this is another lot of coal miners in Pennsylvania. 1891. Pennsylvania's coal mines took the lives of many in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Of the 956 workers who died in coal mining accidents in the US in 1891, more than 2/3 perished in the Keystone State in Pennsylvania. Gosh, so Pennsylvania was not the place to be a coal miner, obviously. In one accident near Hazleton that year, 18 workers were buried alive under a sea of water that rushed into their shaft. That seems to be a common thing, doesn't it? Like water rushing into where they're working. When a hole was knocked in the bottom of an old mine nearby, 5 survivors were able to escape the water and make it to an upper chamber where they lived for an incredible 19 days. The men stretched the contents of their dinner pails for 6 days, and when the food ran out, they subsisted on lamp oil and sulfur-tainted water until their eventual rescue. God, good job they had their lunch buckets, wasn't it? Okay, next one. NASA saves the Hubble. 19 years is a long time for a machine. The Hubble Space Telescope began its outer space adventures in April 1990, but in the early 2000s its batteries were drained and its sensors weren't sensing. NASA had repaired the telescope 4 times before for mostly minor fixes, but this time the Hubble Hubble's not a person though, is it? There weren't any people on it, but anyway, the Hubble needed a complete makeover. After scrapping a 2004 repair mission, NASA changed its mind, and in 2009, a team of astronauts from the Space Shuttle Atlantis made their way out to the failing telescope. They used a giant arm-like device to yank the Hubble out of its orbit and place it in the Atlantis's cargo bay. 5 spacewalks later, the Hubble was released back into space. That's not really a story of survival, is it, or rescue? That's the Hubble. It's not people, but I've literally, I don't remember that. So I wouldn't have taken any interest. I have 0 interest in space things. I just don't see the point of any of it, and I don't believe in the moon landings. I'm not generally a conspiracy theorist, but in that case I am. I don't believe for a minute that in the early 60s you could literally practically drive a quad on the moon, and now that people can't even get there without it being too dangerous, 60 years later, there's been no advancement on that. I thought that recent sort of load of rubbish with all those the women that went into space, they didn't go into space. It was so ridiculous, such a waste of money, just a great big publicity stunt. I have no sort of interest in space things, so I don't remember that, and I don't personally. Now, you may love things about space and think it's all great, so I'm not trying to tell you what to think, but that's just how I think. I think they were just thinking of a last one to put there, because that's not really a proper rescue mission, is it? That's to rescue a telescope? A telescope? Yeah. So there you go. I mean, there'll be loads more than that. I think I might do more of those, but look at some more recent ones, because I do think it's important to remember that, although we cover a lot of sort of sad cases where people maybe have been recovered, but unfortunately not still sort of living, not rescued. We need to concentrate on ones that are rescued. And of course, a big thing not long ago, of course, was the children. It was in Thailand, wasn't it? The football team. Let's have a look. Because that was a massive rescue, wasn't it? And the Tam Luang Cave Rescue. That was just terrifying, wasn't it? So this was in 2018. God, it's already 7 years ago. So it was a junior association football team that became trapped for 15 days. But I think 2 divers died rescuing them, didn't they? Let's see if I can find a little video or something to watch. Oh, yeah, you can always rely on Sky News. Let's watch this. Hi, Heather. I don't believe for a minute we went to the moon, David. I've never thought we did. Just ridiculous to think that we did, and we've not advanced in 60 years. I just don't believe it personally. But anyway, some people do. Some people would say, including my son. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist in general at all. I don't believe in a lot of conspiracy theories, but that one I just don't think we did do it. Anyway, let's have a look at this.
Brilliant. It was a story that gripped the world.
I'm going to pause for a moment so that you can just get a sense of what it's like here.
In 2018, a team of young footballers and their coach became trapped in a flooded cave for 17 days. Miraculously, all 13 survived. Here's how it unfolded.
Oh my God, they're all smiling and laughing there. My God. Now, I'm not sure where did they get the silver foil things from. I think they had some, weren't they? They were going into the caves anyway, but then the water made them go they went so far into the cave and then they couldn't get out. Anyway,
So I remember being at home and the person that was in charge of foreign news at the time called me and said, "Can you go to Thailand tonight?" Yes. Where these boys were trapped is really a very, very remote place, very difficult place to get to easily. So it involved a long flight to Thailand, to the Thai capital Bangkok. Then we took an internal flight to a place called Chiang Rai. And from there, it was a drive of, I think, maybe about a couple of hours to get up to where this cave complex was, which was up near the border with Myanmar. So not an easy place to get to, very remote.
This is the entrance to the caves, which is being closely guarded by soldiers from the Thai army. What we don't know is how long it will be before the boys are able to be brought up to the surface.
The boys are trapped on a small rocky shelf more than 2 miles from the cave's entrance,
oh my God,
past a normally dry point of the complex called Pattaya Beach, which is now flooded. The team are in darkness with nothing to eat. They get by drinking the moisture from cave walls.
In the beginning, very early stages, there was some Thai rescue.
I mean, it was miraculous, really. When you look at the situation here, it's absolutely miraculous that they were, and just shows the heroism of those divers that went to get them.
Workers, some local people, but gradually, day by day, the mouth of the cave turned pretty much into a kind of village in its own right.
There's lots and lots of frenetic activity, people coming and going, rescue teams who are arriving, changing shifts, but it's hot,
it's humid, it's exceptionally muddy now underneath. So it is a continuing race against time to try to pump water out of the caves at the same time as overground scour the jungle to see whether there are any more entrances into the caves to try to find the boys.
The Tam Luang cave complex stretches under a mountainside for around 6 miles. And there are suggestions that rescuers could drill to the spot where the boys are trapped. But drilling raises concerns that part of the cave could collapse.
Was really, really hard there because back then we weren't very organized. There was nobody knew anything.
So I am one of the many volunteers here and one of the diving volunteers. I'm a cave diver myself.
Every situation we saw was new. Nobody had any experience with rescuing kids from a cave.
You know, most cave divers will have training to rescue other cave divers out of a cave, but rescuing kids out of a cave, that is new to most of us.
But I remember walking in the first day from the entry of the cave until chamber 3, where the diving is required. Until chamber 3, you can actually walk. It's wet, it's muddy, and so on, but you can walk without submerging underwater. And that took a good 90 minutes, 2 hours to walk in there, and it's incredibly exhausting. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's making me feel ill. So you're walking 2 hours before you even get to a bit where you can start going under like that. All that claustrophobia, 2 hours in. So it's not as if you can just run out quickly or anything. 2 hours. And they're fit, of course, and healthy people.
Explosion in the number of people who were there was absolutely extraordinary, from very few in the beginning to divers who were coming from all over the world, rescue workers from all over the world, Thai Navy SEALs. All of the relatives came because they wanted to be close to their children. So there was an area where the relatives were. They congregated under a kind of canopy, but it was almost like you could see these people in there, like watching them in a goldfish bowl, if you like. They just sat watching Thai television the whole time with, you know, stress, anxiety, worry, fear etched on their faces. So you really felt for them, just sitting there waiting for any kind of grain of positive news.
It's 50-50 whether they make it out. But I won't stop waiting for my son. I hope a miracle will happen and my son is rescued.
Oh my God.
The next day, divers make a...
Imagine if your child was in there. Oh God. Just, you know, those people that went to rescue him, God. I'm speechless to what to say. You know, all these people that people do it every day, don't they? We've seen that with mountain rescue dive teams and things in the UK or be the same across the world. The people that do it in their spare time as well. A lot of them, they do it, they're not paid for it. We saw with Phil from Beneath the Surface. You know, they're not paid for it. They do it voluntarily to help families. Not because they want fame or fortune or anything, just because they genuinely want to help.
A breakthrough, finding the boys alive, huddled together on a muddy slope.
How many of you? 13. Brilliant.
They are found by British divers John Valanthan and Richard Stanton, who've been braving Tam Luang's narrow, murky passageways for several days, laying guide ropes and searching for signs of life.
We are coming. It's okay. It's okay. Many people are coming. Many people. We are the first. Many people come.
It just makes me laugh. Sorry, it just makes me laugh when, like, he's talking to them obviously in English, and then he's saying it's that loud English, hoping they'll understand better. But you know, this is definitely one thing. It does make you proud to be British. You know, the British divers were the first ones there. They found them. So yeah, that gives you a nice warm feeling to be British for once, which is good, because quite often, you know, I don't have a warm feeling about being British. But yeah, good for them.
Tomorrow. No. What day is it?
So that was, you know, it was incredible to see live footage of the kids, for us rescuers, but even more so for their parents, to see that the kids were still maybe not having their best time, but alive. But the biggest challenge was, people say, yeah, now you found it, everything is fine. No, finding the kids, I had nothing to do with the search of the kids. That was done by other divers. But now you have 13 non-divers sitting in complete darkness that need to do a 2.5 kilometer dive. Panic underwater is always.
Yeah. So they found the kids. Brilliant. Now they've got to work at it, but it's not, it's not anywhere near the end of the mission, is it? So now they've got to get the kids out of there.
Issue. It also happens for beginner divers. They're learning to dive and they have some kind of experience. Maybe a fish comes a bit close, and they get panicky, or they don't think the equipment is working or whatever, and they shoot up to the surface and in panic. You will more than likely survive. You have the same panic attack in a cave, you will for sure lose your life, because there is no surface. You're gonna shoot up to what you think or what you're panicky for, and think is the surface, and that's a hard rock. Now you have a blood coming out of your head. That was a challenge, that Dr. Harris solved. How can we get these divers out and minimize, if not eliminate, the risk of them going into panic, because panic would for sure have killed the kid, and not impossible if they would have taken the rescue with them.
Yeah, so they did. They sedated the children. They would have had to put me out completely. I don't think they could have given me enough to sedate me. Well, having said that, I would never have been there in the first place. But those children were brave. The divers were so super brave, and yeah, 2 of them unfortunately paid with their lives.
I remember the night that the video was released. The cameraman and I had actually just filed our report to London, and I think it was kind of around 10 o'clock at night. And so we were on our way back to a guest house where we were staying in Chiang Rai, and we got a call from the news desk saying the boys have been found, which was incredible.
And we found our younger brothers are safe.
That all Thailand is here, and I think all Thailand is celebrating right now.
But it was only gradually that the penny dropped then about just how extraordinarily complex the task was of getting the boys out.
The following day, the boys are joined by a medic and Thai Navy SEAL divers who would stay with the group for the rest of the ordeal. The boys seem to be in good spirits and have been given warming foil blankets and medicated liquid food. Now, rescuers need to figure out how to extract the group, some of whom can't swim, down the winding...
God, they can't even swim, some of them. Oh, my God. And that was a brave doctor that went in there. So the doctor's gone in there. Doctors are not divers, are they? So I don't know how he got in there. Was he taken in by a diver?
Flooded passageways.
Let's bring you some of the day's other main news. A former Thai Navy SEAL has died during this rescue operation to try and free a dozen boys and their football coach from a cave in Thailand. Authorities say Samarn Gunan died from a lack of oxygen, and now the already treacherous operation looks set to be hampered further with monsoon rains set to hit within the next 24 hours or so.
When you read about cave diving, unfortunately, many of the...
So just as you think it can't get any worse, they get monsoon rains. Bloody hell. Someone's having a laugh there.
Stories you read about is this very famous cave diver's last night. It is very unfortunately sad. Not an uncommon thing in cave diving that people lose their life.
The mood of this rescue operation has become more subdued following the death of one of the volunteers. But what hasn't wavered is the professionalism and the dedication of all of the teams involved. There is, though, an increasing sense of urgency. We've learnt that the levels of oxygen in the caves where the boys are trapped is deteriorating. There's also still the threat of more bad weather.
Just watching that, how they're putting the, people are clever, aren't they? Human beings, we are so clever. Not me, I mean them. But, just in general, humanity, human beings are so intelligent. The things that they can do. Why do they sometimes use that intelligence, in wars and things like that, when they can do all these good things? I don't understand why sometimes we put that ingenuity into like guns and tanks and things to kill people? Why can't we just stick to the positive things?
I do vividly remember just how critical the mud, the rain, and that whole experience of trying to kind of work and function in that environment and how difficult that was. It was critical with regards to why the boys were there in the first place, because they got trapped because of early monsoon rains. And it was critical about the timeline of getting them out before the monsoon rains got even worse.
Well, you can see why they've needed to launch the rescue operation when they have.
God.
The bad weather has really started to...
Oh my God. Oh God, this is a miracle that anyone ever survived this.
Close in.
During the first phase of the rescue, the boys are manoeuvred out of the cave by the divers. They are wearing wetsuits and full-face air masks to help them breathe.
God.
They are sedated with ketamine to prevent them from panicking during the rescue. Some sections are so narrow that they can just about fit a body through, so divers push the boys through from behind. All along the route, different teams.
I bet they'd be struggling to get my body through those little thin, narrow things as well. It's like, oh God, they'd have to leave me in there a couple of weeks, lose a couple of stone first, then push me through. God, I mean, you've had it if you're not skinny, really.
Teams are stationed, waiting to play their role in the rescue.
Ketamine can be dangerous if you get too much, so they got smaller doses designed to roughly last halfway. And then when they came to Chamber 6, myself and Eric's, our job was kind of to make a medical examination to see how aware is this kid. Does this kid need another injection, or are they still under the influence? And the vast majority of the kids were starting to wake up, and they then got another shot in their thigh at that halfway point, and then had to take their equipment off and replace the oxygen tank, and then they continued out with the diver.
Once they reach Chamber 3, each boy is secured in a stretcher and pulled through the cave using ropes and pulleys. Each boy is taken out of the cave one by one, transported to a military helicopter and flown to a hospital in Chiang Rai.
Let's take you straight across to Thailand because we have some good news to bring you. All 12 boys and their coach have been brought out of the cave alive, according to Thai Navy SEALs.
After 2 more daring rescue operations, everyone is out of the cave.
People here have been shouting, stay strong, keep on fighting to those children.
For me, my worst nightmare covering stories abroad and being somewhere remote is that something happens back home. And my sister was taken very seriously ill. She ended up having to have emergency brain surgery. So for me, when the boys were extracted, I ended up, at that time, I was by my sister's bedside in hospital. So I didn't get to cover the end of the story. But I remember just thinking, imagining the place and the scene as it would have been as I was somewhere else.
Right now it's the time for celebration.
Yes.
But everybody is safe and well.
Yes.
That's the main thing.
The young footballers are now famous and speak publicly for the first time. They sign a film deal with Netflix, travel the world and have their story retold countless.
Yeah, you'd never go in a cave again, would it? Well, I wouldn't go in there in the first place, but these boys, it's like avoid caves like the plague.
Times. Some of the divers are also thrust into the spotlight.
Oh.
It's a famous event, and as you probably know, there's several movies coming out, and some are out already. I think the size of the operation is the biggest thing they get wrong. Yes, it's pretty far from the truth when you see that 2 or 3 guys go in and do it all by themselves. Yeah.
Do you know, and this is it. So often on the channel, because obviously it is a crime channel after all, true crime channel, we see the worst of humanity, don't we? But in this, I'm getting all emotional now because this is the best of humanity. This is the best of humanity, the effort that was put into rescuing those boys, the ingenuity. That's all the best things about humanity and about human beings, what the good that they're capable of. And sometimes human beings do bad things, but more to often they do good things, like in this case.
But I just think it was really clear from day one that it would make a very good film, and it was a really interesting story that people would find fascinating.
Oh my God, they've opened it up again. Would you go? I mean, so they've reopened the cave to tourists. I mean, what? Whatever. Would you go in that cave? I wouldn't. Oh. Oh, look. So they've installed a statue of the Navy SEAL, the Thai Navy SEAL, Saman Gunnan. Oh, bless. Oh. So the British divers Richard Stanton and John Volanthen, who were the first to reach the buoys, were awarded the George Medal in 2019. So I'm getting all tearful now, but it's good tears, it's emotional tears. Oh. Oh my God. So one of the boys took his own life in 2023. He'd been studying at a school in the UK after gaining a football scholarship. Do you think he just couldn't get over it? Anyway, a lot of young boys take their own lives, unfortunately. There's a lot of issues, aren't there, for young people? That's a bit of that sort of brought me down to earth again. Very sad. Oh, look at his casket there with the footballs and everything. His ashes were scattered in the Mekong River. Oh, do you know what? Life is it's just a roller coaster, isn't it? Wow. That was a video there by Sky News, a good sort of summary of what happened. Well, don't know about you. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm sort of euphoric in one sense and sad, obviously, at the boy that took his own life and the Navy SEAL that died. It's like, oh my God. Anyway, a miraculous rescue. And to me, I'm going to focus on the positives out of that story, which is the bravery of people, the lengths, that people put their own lives on the line, didn't they, to save those boys? And that is the good that people are capable of. People are capable of good things. And unfortunately, they don't always do good things. But every time one bad thing happens, one twonk goes out and does something like the things we talk about on the channel, like the crime side of things, there's another, 20, 30, maybe more people out there that are doing good things. So, okay, so that's it. I've got to go. I'm going to hopefully get some sun today. It's a beautiful day here. I hope it's beautiful where you are, but stay safe, whatever you're doing. Thank you for watching. I'm going to put my banner on again. I hope, you found that interesting. I know there's a little bit of negativity there at the end, but mainly positivity, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to put the song on again. Song always makes me smile, and I hope it makes you smile. It's very catchy. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. But most importantly, look after you, because you are the most important person. Oh, it's a dog now. Come say that. Yeah, she's like, oh, thank God you finished with that. Come and give me some attention. Okay, bye.
Oh, Vicky, my but your YouTube world is the purest gold. With every video fresh and new, you light my days with joy so true. Oh, Vicky Marie, your voice, your charm, your spark, your flair, keep me glued beyond compare. From laughs to lessons, all you share. No other channel shines so rare. The comments buzz, your fans agree. We're all here for your energy. A loyal crowd, you're ahead of the game. So here's my thanks from me to you, for all the fun and wisdom too. Keep creating, stay the same. Vicky Marie, you've won the game. The comments buzz, your fans agree. We're all here for your energy. A loyal crowd, you're ahead of the game. So here's my thanks from me to you, for all the fun and wisdom too. Keep creating, stay the same. Vicky Marie, you won the game. Keep creating, stay the same. Vicky Marie, you've won the game.